Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for joining us in this special and unique 2020 Gala. So I want to start by thanking this amazing group of people that worked hard to put this event together. You know, I grew up in a kibbutz in the Galilee in Israel, and I knew from a young age how important it is and how reassuring it is to be a part of a strong community. As you know, over the years, Israel had its fair share of extreme challenges, but I always felt safe and supported and confident because I knew that whatever challenge we face, we'll do it together, we'll step up, and we'll do whatever it takes to overcome it. And now, in the face of COVID-19 challenge, I feel exactly the same about our amazing Kehillah Jewish high school community. And I feel it because I've seen it. I've seen our amazing and committed faculty and staff stepping up in a big way to move from regular to online learning practically overnight in a way that inspires communities and schools around us. I've seen the inspiring way that every one of the board members step up collectively in our unwavering commitment to support the community and the families and provide the school with whatever resource they need to continue and do the magic that they do. And I've seen individuals in this community stepping up and donated generously already to support us in our efforts. And tonight I'm asking every one of you to also step up and help us. Because this year, probably more than ever before, we need your financial support. We need your financial support because we know that running a school in the near future will be significantly more expensive than ever before. We already know that we need to invest a lot in financial aid to make sure that every family can continue being part of the community. We also know that we need to have significant additional investment in facilities, in equipment, in cleaning and sanitizing, in professional development and technology and much more. And we know we need to do it together. So we ask you to step up and donate to the best of your ability. And we made it easy for you tonight. I want to thank you for your support. I want to thank you for being part of this amazing community.
A good school puts its students first. And from the 4 commitments through extraordinary futures, including the day-to-day operations of the school, the good of the student was the direction Darren set for Kehillah from the beginning. For me as a faculty member and other faculty members, this emphasis freed us up to not worry about the little things, but to focus on delivering the best experience possible for our students. That is an environment I will always appreciate. Speaking of students, as a teacher, it's always a pleasure to see how they evolve from the time they enter to the time they leave. Some students enter as small, timid freshmen, and by the time they graduate, they dwarf me in terms of stature and their level of knowledge. But their growth doesn't stop there. It continues. Once they graduate from Kehillah, they become alumni. And when alumni come back to say hi, it's always thrilling for me to hear how much they're learning, experiencing, and accomplishing as college students in professions or any walk of life that they've chosen here and abroad. In the next few minutes, you'll hear from some alumni who have pursued different areas of study and have embarked on different paths of life. They all have one thing in common, however. They were students at Kehillah.
Kehillah definitely played an important role in my growth as a person. So I'm an incoming junior at Princeton studying computer science, and I think Kehillah has really prepared me more than adequately on this path. Many of the relationships I cherish most today I built at Kehillah, whether that be my best friends or teachers who I still have fantastic relationships with at Kehillah, whether that be Mr. SCHLOSS, Mr. G, who both inspired me to study STEM at higher level in university, and just having those tight-knit relationships really taught me to put myself out there in college in regards to building relationships with professors, embarking in research opportunities, or just going to office hours and getting help in preparation for an exam. It really taught me to sort of advocate for myself at the university level and sort of develop relationships with professors. I'm so grateful for Kehillah because it really taught me how to become a more complete person, whether that be from relationship building to academics. It really inspired me to be the person I am today and is teaching me how to dream bigger for my future.
Kehillah's size really showed me what I wanted to have in my college experience, and that allowed me to apply to smaller colleges, including the one that I now go to, Scripps College. We have a humanities major called the Interdisciplinary Studies and Culture, and I will be either just minoring or dual majoring with fine art, which also was a discovery I made at Kehillah. A big part of Kehillah is the fact that it's a Jewish school. I did not realize until the first few weeks into college how much I needed my Jewish community. I joined Hillel very soon into my freshman year, and I've been on board since. I've also joined many other Jewish groups on campus, student-run, political. Those have been my support systems throughout. I could always rely on having that Shabbat dinner on Friday nights, which was something I didn't know I needed, and I'm so glad I have.
So I think there are 5 things that really defined my Kehillah experience. And the first one is, as soon as I got there, I started making friends almost immediately. And Kehillah does a great job at mixing grades and promoting, mingling and connections between your older, Kehillah counterparts, as well as kids in your grade. And that was something really special. And the second part was academics. They teach it not just one way. And so if you don't understand something, or you're having trouble in a class, the teachers are more than happy to sit down with you and help you. Along with that, they help with encouraging advocacy. I know that a lot of my friends who weren't really prepared to go up to their teachers and explain what they need or explain accommodations, freshman year, I could really see their transition all the way through senior year and going into college, and how prepared they are to, speak to teachers, speak to professors, and really advocate for what they need. Come junior and senior year, one of the most special things about Kehillah is kind of the transition from normal school to school with the college process. And they really guided me on the process to getting into college and applying to college. And I think that was just totally invaluable.
So you just heard from my son, Jared. I can't tell you how proud I am of him, and also how grateful I am to Kehillah. I still remember sitting with Darren and talking to him about the school, and Darren said, our promise to you is that we will maximize your child's outcome, however you and he want it to be. And that's really what I saw. The teachers cared so deeply about my son, and the environment and the community cared deeply about my son. And he left with a sense of confidence. He left with a sense of pride in what a good student he was and how much he was able to accomplish. And he left with an amazing group of friends. And for all of that, I'm just incredibly grateful. Now I have my next son who's going to be joining the school. Ari will be a freshman next year. And I'm sure his experience will be completely different, but I know that the teachers will care about him and will help him to achieve his best, just like they did to Jared, and I'm incredibly grateful.
For a few minutes tonight, I want to recognize and pay tribute to the extraordinary Kehillah staff, the many people with whom I have the honor of working each day. And to do this, I want to turn the clock back to the last week of February 2020, a little over 3 months ago today. At that time, we were about 8 weeks into the second semester and having one of those great years in a school's history. A strong senior class, vibrant clubs, good sports seasons, academic successes, just to name a few. Our junior class was off on the Israel trip at that point, and our other 3 grades were preparing for their trips to Los Angeles, Portland, and New York City the following week, along with a new on-campus program on storytelling. I am still really moved when I think back to how fortunate our students were, especially the class of 2020, to have experienced these trips this year and all the wonderful learning opportunities and class bonding that come with travel and experiential education. So much has changed since then. And so much awaited our teachers when they return from leading these trips. Usually a chaperone has a little time to rest before gearing up for school again, but not this year. In a rapidly changing world, our teachers had about a week's time to pivot and transform their on-campus classes into a virtual platform and continue teaching. It is amazing to think about what our professional team has accomplished since then. Their talent, hard work, and most of all, their deep, deep devotion and care of our students have led to a vibrant continuation of our academic program. Teachers have continued to revise original plans, seek professional development opportunities, meet with students for extra help, and to prepare them for the next level. Others have navigated such challenges as operating our advancement and admissions offices remotely. All the while, so many people, like Matt Linden and his Tuesday trivia nights, have gone above and beyond to continue our community life and the connections that are at the heart of our Kehillah. But I'm not surprised when I reflect on this pivot and on our students' positive academic experiences this past quarter. We have an outstanding teaching staff at Kehillah who are deeply committed to preparing students for extraordinary futures. Your support plays a vital role in our ability to find these incredible people, and I thank you for considering a contribution this evening. And now let's hear a little more from our class of 2020.
No matter if I had a question about a homework assignment or a question about some homework that I missed, or if I just wanted to chat, the teachers and faculty were always there for me, and I could not have asked for a more supportive environment from my high school experience.
The adaptability of the teachers and the faculty at Kehillah is what made Kehillah such a wonderful school to be a part of. Mr. Linden and other teachers have really made sure that their workload that they give to the students is very adaptable and changeable depending on how the students are doing.
I had Dr. Dooley last year as my US history teacher, and it was a really amazing experience. She's such a delight to have as a teacher. She really related to the students on a one-on-one basis, and she really made an effort to get to know each and every one of us. She was really passionate about what she was teaching and always felt excited to be teaching it.
At Kehillah, I felt like I had a lot of classes where I just really enjoy who the teacher is as a person, and that really helps with the class.
Some of the best memories I've made have just been laughing, quote walls. Some really memorable experiences were Mr. Marmer's modern poetry class in 11th grade and Miss Wolfden's calculus class this year. Just being around people all day who are connecting with me around learning and connecting with them too has felt amazing.
One teacher who's had a great impact on me is Dr. Bahrab. I've had him for 3 classes, my favorite being Advanced Algorithms senior year. In this 5-person class, Dr. Bahrab was open to our suggestions of what we were passionate about learning. Sitting in class working on these projects was some of the most fun I've had in any class at Kehillah, and I think I really discovered my passion and excitement for learning from this class and from Dr. Bahrab.
Going off to college, I can only imagine what it would be like if the Kehillah faculty hadn't imparted this amazing skill of self-advocacy. Thank you to the Kehillah teachers who have given me this skill and so many others and prepared me for what's to come in the next few years.
Dr. Dooley represents a teacher that really means something to me and represents my Kehillah experience because she's just so sweet and loving and sensitive, and I just really love that.
Freshman year, I had Miss Muzinski as my English teacher. You could tell that she cared about her students really deeply, and as more than students, she would want to get to know you as a person. I really appreciate that, and I think having her as a teacher helped me grow both as a person and a student into the person that I am today.
Throughout my time at Kehillah, kind of history classes are what have stood out to me most as what I'm most interested in. And I think that largely to the teachers that I've had, starting with Dr. Bennett for those first 2 years, who really made engaging classes that really got me interested in the material, while also keeping me on track with a really good work schedule. And then junior year, I was in a 3-person class led by Miss Rowledge. That class really interested me, especially because the teacher, Miss Rowledge, was able to make it relatable to me and to make it something that I was interested in. And then this year with Mr. Linden as my teacher for AP Gov and Economics, kept that interest going and really made a fun classroom environment that made me eager to learn and also to work with my peers a lot, and really kept me going on that path of things that I'm interested in with history and government and politics, and that's what I hope to study in the future and go into in the future.
As a student at Kehillah over the past 4 years, I've had a lot of great experiences, and particularly with my teachers, we've gotten to know each other really well. They really care about you and about how you're doing, not just academically, but also in your own personal life. If anything's troubling you, they want to accommodate you, and it's been a great experience.
In my time at Kehillah, I've learned a lot of lessons, and a lot of those lessons were taught to me by Miss Muzinski. She was a teacher that always pushed me to challenge myself in my writing. She not only cared about the quality of the work of her students, but also about their well-being and push them to be the best people that they could be.
I have to just give a shout out to Mr. Romero. He made my high school experience awesome. He introduced me to music, made me passionate about music. He was my favorite class.
Cobb Shop in itself is really pretty amazing, actually, if you think about it. It really shows you the community of the school and how supportive it is and how much of a community it actually is.
I feel so lucky to be so close with my teachers, and to have leaving class and graduating high school be so sad because it makes me not want to leave Kehillah, and it just feels like such a special energy when we're all together, and I just want to thank Kehillah for that. It transformed me as a person.
In addition to being a parent and a board member at Kehillah, I had the privilege of chairing our search for the new head of school. We got applicants from all over the world, literally all over the world. And there was one person that just stood out, and that was Daisy Pellant. I have to tell you, I had the opportunity to do her reference checks, and after hearing from parents, from educators, from teachers, it was clear that we would be so lucky to get her to join our community.
Good evening. My name is Daisy Pellant, and I'm honored to be the incoming head of school for Kehillah. It's hard to believe that I first read about Kehillah only a year ago. I was struck by the heart of the 4 commitments to respect and care for ourselves, for others, and for the world. My curiosity was further piqued by the unapologetic focus on being a school unlike any other, one that knows that academic achievement can and must exist in tandem with human development. And we can honor all quirks and variations in the process. As a developmental psychologist, this was right up my alley. How had we never met before? My subsequent visits to the school brought to light the deep integrity of the community as I spoke with impassioned faculty, students, and families about their love for one another, the program, and the experience of being at Kehillah. I will never forget the conversation I had with a new family who had chosen Kehillah because they heard from a friend of a friend that it was a place that helped to create the adults we all hope our kids will become. Tears welled up in the mother's eyes as she expressed joy in having her child at Kehillah and gratitude for collaboration in raising and launching all of our children to live in accordance with our Jewish values and to make a difference in the world. As the mother of 4, this resonated with me as I flew back to the snowy north. Well, the snow has now melted and the world has been turned upside down. Tonight, I'm Zooming in rather than meeting you in person. Tonight, I'm speaking with you from Minneapolis, the epicenter of the pain that is blanketing our nation. Earlier today, my school, Breck, had its graduation ceremony. Like Kehillah, we are grappling with wanting to celebrate our school and our wonderful graduates, while also truly hearing the chorus of voices on our streets saying change has to happen now. In my head, I hear Hillel, and if not now, when? Hillel was telling us that we cannot postpone our duty to be a part of what heals the world. This is true today. We cannot postpone our duty to dismantle systemic racism, and we must work as allies in solidarity toward a better world. Kehillah Jewish High School already lives into this duty to heal the world, and that is one of the many reasons I said yes to becoming your next head of school. Rabbi KLEINBERG and an incredible faculty and staff have created a culture of awareness, of community partnership, and of care and responsibility to ourselves and to others. It is clear that making a difference is woven into the fabric of the school. and there is always more work to be done. I am committed to carrying the baton forward by making sure that Kehillah not only survives but thrives. I am committed to work with our leadership team to try and bring our students back to school. I am committed to working with our faculty to emerge ever stronger as a national leader in sending young people into the world with the practice skills to make a difference. Right now, I grapple with both a broken heart and eyes fixed on the potential of an extraordinary future.
When I think back about Kehillah and why we're at this school and why we love it so much, I remember when we first thought about Ariella going to Kehillah. It was 11 years ago. We had moved up to the Bay Area from Santa Monica. We bought our first home in Palo Alto, joined the JCC, and then discovered Gideon Hausner Jewish Day School. We became part of this amazing Jewish community here in the Bay Area. And we thought that our daughter would go to school through 8th grade, and then we'd send her to a public high school. We live in Palo Alto. The schools here are wonderful. I was picking her up from kindergarten at Hausner, and we drove past the JCC, and Kehillah was across the street. And our daughter pointed to the building, to the sign, and said, "Mommy, what is that?" I said, "Oh, that's Kehillah Jewish High School." And she asked me, "Well, what do they do there?" And I said, "Big kids, teenagers, they learn Jewish things there." And she said, "Well, I love learning Jewish things, so I'm going to have to go to school there one day." And that's it. It was a done deal. Ariella wanted to go to Kehillah, and we made it happen. We have been so blessed to be part of this community. The online learning, the trip to Israel, And I said, "Big kids, the teenagers, service they learning, learn the Jewish volunteering, the dedication of teachers. All these things have made Kehillah so special for our family. Our Jewish values of tikkun olam and taking care of the world and loving Israel and feeling connected to everyone in the community and helping not just our own community, but everyone in the world is so much in the fabric of our lives. And Ariella going to Kehillah has been an extension of this for us. We are so excited about Kehillah, and we think about it for our son. He'll be in 8th grade next year. And one of the reasons that we support Kehillah so much is because it is single-handedly the most important institution in our daughter's lives right now. We believe so much in what this school can offer our daughter and the whole community, and I hope that you will join me and support Kehillah. My husband and I feel so connected and hope that you will feel connected. These are very trying times. There's so much uncertainty in the world, and the one thing we know is that every morning my daughter gets online with Kehillah and has a full day of meaningful, substantial, personal learning, and we are so grateful for that. Thank you so much. And
At this morning's staff meeting, we met to process the tragedy of George Floyd's murder and the events that have been taking place in cities and communities across the country. As we often do throughout a school year, we have open discussions like this to consider how to talk to our students about important issues, how to move forward as a school, and ultimately how we share the responsibility as educators to prepare Kehillah students for extraordinary futures and their impact on the world. We thought it would be fitting to end our program tonight with sharing a letter that will be going out to the Kehillah community tomorrow. May this letter help serve as a lens into the kind of school we strive to be for our students and families.
Thank you, Patty. The first of our 4 commitments means that we at Kehillah hold unequivocally that Black lives matter. As educators and as Americans, we are dismayed by the long patterns of race-based brutality in the United States. Our hearts break at the traumatic deaths of Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Eric Garner, John Crawford III, Michael Brown, Ezell Ford, Dante Parker, Michelle Cusseau, Laquan McDonald, George Mann, Tanisha Anderson, Akai Gurley, Tamir Rice, Rumain Brisbane, Jerame Reed, Matthew Ajibaid, Frank Smart, Natasha McKenna, Tony Robinson, Anthony Hill, Maya Hall, Philip White, Eric Harris, Walter Scott, William Chapman II, Alexia Christian, Brendan Glenn, Victor Manuel LaRosa, Jonathan Sanders, Freddie Blue, Joseph Mann, Salvador Ellswood, Sandra Bland, Albert Joseph Davis, Darius Stewart, Billy Ray Davis, Samuel DuBose, Michael Sabi, Brian Keith Day, Christian Taylor, Troy Robinson, Ashams Pharaoh Manley, Felix Kumi, Keith Harrison McLeod, Junior Prosper, Lamontez Jones, Patterson Brown, Dominic Hutchinson, Anthony Ashford, Alonzo Smith, Tyree Crawford, India Kager, Levante Biggs, Michael Lee Marshall, Jameer Clark, Richard Perkins, Nathaniel Harris Pickett, Benny Lee Tigner, Miguel Espinal, Michael Knoll, Kevin Matthews, Betty Jones, Quintonio Legrier, Keith Childress Jr., Janet Wilson, Randy Nelson, Antroni Scott, Wendell Celestine, David Joseph, Kaylin Roquemore, Dijon Perkins, Christopher Davis, Marco Loud, Peter Gaines, Tori Robinson, Darius Robinson, Kevin Hicks, Mary Trujillo, DeMarcus Semmer, Willie Tillman, Terrell Thomas, Sylville Smith, Alton Sterling, Philando Castile, Terrence Crutcher, Paul O'Neill, Alteria Woods, Jordan Edwards, Aaron Bailey, Ronell Foster, Stephon Clark, Antoine Rose II, Botham Jean, Pamela Turner, Dominique Clayton, Tatiana Jefferson, Christopher Whitfield, Christopher McCorvey, Eric Reason, Michael Lorenzo Dean, Amadou Diallo, and Trayvon Martin, whose names join the seemingly endless list of Black lives cut short unjustly by state violence and structural racism. Kehillah stands in solidarity with members of the Black community and all marginalized groups against this pernicious, racially motivated targeting and mistreatment reminiscent of persecution all too familiar to Jewish history. We must stand together. Communities of color are clearly in pain, and Jewish values call on us to stand up as allies. The story of Hebrew enslavement in Egypt culminates in an admonition, a moral imperative repeated numerous times in the Torah to let the memory of past persecution guide our actions. Exodus chapter 23, verse 9 commands, V'ger lo tilchatz, v'atem yadatem et nefesh hager, ki gerim heyitem be'eretz Mitzrayim. You shall not oppress the stranger, for you know the feelings of the stranger, for you were strangers in the land of Egypt. We call on the members of our community, students, teachers, families, to live up to the admonition in Exodus to see and hear the feelings of those unjustly treated as strangers in their own land, and then to actively work towards dismantling the pervasive structures of racism in our country. The fourth of our four commitments calls on each of us to take responsibility, in this case for doing our utmost to learn, to empathize, to acknowledge the justified outrage of marginalized and persecuted people, and to support the cause of social justice and pursue tikkun olam, a repaired world. As a school, education is our primary task, and education is an important part of building a more equitable society. But we also recognize that education alone is not enough to enact lasting change. Now is the time for every one of us to contribute with meaningful action. The steps we each take towards social justice will look different from person to person and even conversation to conversation. For those in our community unsure where to begin, we will be sharing resources with you tomorrow by email to help you connect to the larger conversation and determine how you can best work to undo the structures of racism and inequality in our society. As Anne Marie, a Holocaust survivor who spoke to Kehillah students over Zoom, recently reminded us, Living out never again means standing up to make sure that the oppression of any group cannot endure. We call on every member of this, our beloved Kehillah, to speak up and be part of the solution, because a more equitable future demands hard work from us all. Thank you for your ongoing support for this beloved community, and please take care of each other. Shalom.
Hi, I'm Cameron, Senior Class President. During these trying times, Kehillah has been a constant light for its students. Thank you for supporting Kehillah and creating extraordinary futures.
Thank you for supporting Kehillah.
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 Thank you for supporting Kehillah. Thank you for supporting Kehillah.
Thank you for supporting Kehillah. Go Rams.
תודה רבה על התמיכה בקהילה. Thank you, gracias, merci.
Gracias por apoyar Kehillah.
Thank you for supporting Kehillah. Thank you for supporting Kehillah.
Thank you for supporting Kehillah.
Thank you for supporting Kehillah. Thank you for supporting Kehillah.
Thank you so much for supporting Kehillah.
Thank you for supporting our community. Kehillah!
Yay! Thank you for supporting Kehillah. We love our community. Thank you for supporting Kehillah.
Gracias por ayudar a Kehillah. Thank you for supporting Kehillah. Thank you for supporting our school.
Thank you, everyone, for supporting Kehillah and our students.
I'm going to finish with a song. Welcome our incoming head of school, Daisy Pellant. I'm so excited for her. A very challenging time, certainly, to be taking over any institution, but certainly a school. And so I'd written this song, and I was going to play it for our community and for her, but I didn't get to, so I'll play it now. And then we'll sign off. This is called 7 Years.